Unfortunately, with mental health, you can't take a blood test and kind of find out what exactly your problem is. My name is Edika Amir. I was born in France. I was raised in Vietnam, and I started my early education in New York. Then I kind of went on to Malaysia for a couple of years before I finished my high school in Zagreb, Croatia. So in terms of mental health, I would like to think that I'm in the remission stage, but I was diagnosed with clinical depression and anxiety in January 2018. It started with the kind of lack of sleep, always being tired, and then these bouts of panic attacks. So it made it very difficult to, like, on a bad day of work, you wake up in the morning and you just want to vomit. And then you go on to work and your heart is just beating, it's pounding so hard throughout the day. You're shaking, you don't know what's going on, you're kind of like having this blurred stuff. After I was diagnosed in January, I think it went downhill as well because maybe the medication I was taking was not right for me. I ended up losing close to 11 kilograms, and in April I quit my job weighing about 49 kilos. So that's where I was. And I think the thing about mental health is that it's a kind of mind, body, soul experience that if your mind starts to give up, your body starts to give up, and your spirit also starts to give up at the same time. So that's where I was. I've never had a proper support structure growing up. Friends have been temporary, countrymen few and far between. So I didn't know what to do when I was faced with the situation where I'm in that slump. So I think the most important thing was to kind of like speak up on it. Before I left my job in April, I was very honest with my team. I told them that what I was going through. And not many people know that my former colleague ended up financing my treatment and finding me the right doctor after I left the bank. So I started seeing Dr. Daniel Zainal in Prince Court. I think what it started was that getting treatment first, seeking help from a professional was very important. The first thing that he told me to do was that before we can move on, it's that mind, body, soul component, but before we can do anything moving forward, you kind of have to forgive yourself. So that's what I struggled on with the most. While I was suffering throughout all of that, I kind of hated myself about it because I felt that I was weak. Why am I the only one having this problem? So it's about forgiving yourself and being kind to yourself. That would be the first step that you need to take even before you go through these different journeys of life. The medicine is not designed to cure you, but instead it's just designed to give you that boost so you can help yourself. So it's also very important to know that there's no one size fits all when it comes to mental health. Every human being is unique, everyone's on a different path, everyone's had different experiences. And unfortunately with mental health, you can't take a blood test and kind of find out what exactly your problem is. So it's more of a trial and error thing. But the important thing is to, one, have that will to not give up. And that goes down to the individual. And then the second is that you need to be resilient to kind of try out new things. Because if one thing doesn't work, there could be another treatment that follows that can help you. Well, it's different for other people. For me, I operate on confidence. So when I wake up in the morning, I know instantly is this going to be a confident day or not confident day? So a good day would be a confident day. You go in, you deal with what you have to deal with. Everything eases through. Of course, there's going to be problems. That's normal. But it's nothing that takes too much of a toll on you. Whereas when you wake up on a bad day is that you already feel that you are completely lost. The palpitation of the heart will increase. Sometimes it may lead to panic attacks where you start to hyperventilate. And what happens when this occurs is that you just need to know how to deal with the situation. So know your triggers, one. The second thing is that it's okay to take a step back. There's no rush in this world. So if you need to kind of take a step back or maybe take a couple hours off in the morning to take care of yourself, do it. No one will be there for you when you break. So at the end of the day, you need to take care of yourself as well because you're the one who has to walk through that journey. Not really. And I think I like to preface that even if you do share, I don't think that you want to be treated differently. I think that will kind of affect you more. So it's always good to kind of have that called kind of empathy. There's an empathy gap that exists right now. So it's just to make sure that checking up on people from time to time, there's no harm in doing that. When you're stressed out, you just look up to your colleague and say, hey, you okay? And that helps. It's just knowing that people have your back, and it's kind of like an interconnected circle of closeness. Mm-hmm. So personally, I didn't have any problem coming out with the mental health, and my colleagues didn't treat me any differently. Most companies do kind of set up that infrastructure where there is maybe an on-site counselor, or at least their insurance covers a minimum of 5 visits to a psychiatrist. But I think many opt not to utilize that because there's always some sort of paper trail that's involved. I'm not sure myself, but I would assume that if I go with my insurance provider, they're going to know that I saw a psychiatrist. So when I started seeing a professional, I ended up going to UM, which was a public hospital. I paid out of cash because I didn't want people to know that I was seeing a professional about it. So I think maybe add on an element of make it more anonymous, or at least kind of preface that whatever you're doing is strictly, it won't be reflected in any document, or that'd probably be a good start. At the end of the day, I think that we think too much, but we feel too little. So more than efficiency, I think we should show empathy. More than cleverness, I think we should show kindness and gentleness. So it's about humanizing the workplace, humanizing the world. And I think along the lines of, with the advent of technology, with how quickly information can be gathered, you're expected to just deliver things snap. On top of that we've never been faced with a huge generational gap where we have 4 different generations working in the workforce. So everybody has a different way of thinking, they have a different way of doing things, and they have a different perception when it comes to mental health. So at the end of the day, we just need to feel a bit more. Again, when you open up, you're not looking for someone to provide you with a solution, but it helps for you to just kind of like let it out and be honest, know where your footing is, and that can comfort people in a way.